Hello, 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 hello. Let's get it going. Let's get it rocking and rolling. So hi guys, like most of you may know, and some of you may not, my name is Giselle Nicole. I host a show called The Giselle Talk Show. Today we're starting something new, and this is for my YouTube channel. While you're here, go ahead and subscribe, like the video, and hit that bell for the notifications so you can stay updated with all my latest YouTube videos and segments and just different things that I'll have going on this year, 2024. Today's show is Transgender Stories, Murders, and Survival. That is the new segment that we're adding to the channel, Transgender Stories, Murder, and Survival. I thought it was very important that we shed some light on this situation, that we shed some light on the transgender women that has lost their lives at the hands of violence just due to them living in their truth and being themselves. And honestly, we're normally painted a lot. We're painted in this picture that, you know, we go around as trans women and we try to fool people and we try to fool men that we date and stuff. And a lot of people, they use that as to a reason why the rate is so high. The death rate is so high in the trans community, especially with women of color, trans women of color. That's not true. A lot of that's not true. A lot of women do disclose who they are, especially with someone that they have interest in dating. I know a lot of my girlfriends that are trans. We live by that same motto. You know, we would never further into any conversation with a man who's interested, who don't know our tea per se, or don't know our past life or who we were or biologically born as. So that narrative, you know, that, oh, they try to fool these guys and that's why this happened is not true. A lot of the times it's out of fear that the guy who is probably a DL guy is going to be exposed and it's going to come out some way in the community, and he fears that, and that usually results in violence to us as trans women. And being in the Black community, it's very much so unacceptable when a Black man comes out and say that he's interested in a trans woman. Whenever he dates one, whenever he's seen with one, it's always viewed in a bad light. So I think that that's due to a lot of the fear that's surrounding the situation. But today I wanted to talk about a beautiful, beautiful soul. Every week I want to try to bring some type of awareness around the trans community and just talk about whether I'm highlighting their success, their survival. That's why I called it Murders and Survival, because I'm definitely going to talk about a lot of the murders, because a lot of the murders go unsolved. So I definitely want to talk about the murders, but I also want to talk about their success. You know, I also want to talk about our success, not our success, because we are successful. There's plenty of us in courthouses and in doctors and emergency rooms and nurses and everything. We're in the Capitol these days. So it's very important. It's very important that, you know, we shed light, because sometimes they won't, you know, give us the light, the recognition, or anything that we also rightfully deserve. And that has been something that has been done for years. I always try to stress that being trans or being part of the LGBTQ plus community, we are often ostracized and placed into a box, the category, and viewed in one light. And I think that it's very important that, we come from all walks of life. People try to, it's just like when race was at play, and it's still at play and at hand, but it's just like back in the days when people, when white people were starting to see more acceptance in their neighborhoods, when they were allowing blacks to come into those white neighborhoods per se and reside, and the people started, they feared it, they didn't understand it, and it was sick and it was sad. And it's the same thing that goes on in our community when people don't understand what goes on with us or don't understand who we are. They fear it, and then they deny us, and they don't want to accept it or accept who we are, or even not to say accept, but even respect who we are just as human beings. And it was the same way back then. And I heard a young lady say on a podcast, a little sit down, it was with women and trans women and women, and they was having a dialogue and a conversation, and the lady was saying, I just think that it's about male and female. There's only male and female, and if you want to be a woman, that's your right. You could choose to do that, but to force it on me and to force it in my home and on my television and I don't feel like that's right, and that's not something that should be forced upon me. I can pull up an interview from back in the days when racism was at an all-time high, where someone said the exact same thing about blacks. The exact same thing is, okay, well, if they want to be accepted and want to be seen, and why do they have to move in our neighborhoods? Why do they have to go to school with our kids? And all of that. So I definitely always feel some type of way when it comes down to when I see people, down talking with a negative opinion, especially people that have communicated with me, crossed paths with me, who know me as a person, who really know my character and everything, just to say, oh, well, that's you. And there's plenty others like me. There's plenty others like me. 81% of the trans people killed this year were trans women. And I'm pretty sure this was from 2023, last year. And 81% were also under the age of 35. 72% of the fatalities this year involved a firearm. The deaths in 2022 spanned 17 states and 26 cities and towns, with Florida and Michigan tying for the most deaths at 4 victims each. Texas and Pennsylvania each reported 3 deaths. It's sad because it is it's at an all-time high. And that's why I think it's very important that we start paying attention. We start speaking on this stuff. A lot of the deaths just go unsolved. A lot of the murders go unsolved. So I want to bring this program to YouTube for everyone to just gain a little bit of knowledge. If I can educate one person, that's great, and I've done my job. If I can educate a whole community to understand and accept and at least respect, that's wonderful. I've done my job. We're not asking for you to come into our bedroom, because that's what it always boils down to, trickles down to what goes on in our bedroom and all this type of stuff here. And I just don't think that is the conversation that should be at play. I don't at all. I don't think that's the conversation that should be at play. But the first story that we're going to talk about, our beautiful, beautiful butterfly, will be Chyna Long. I don't know if you guys heard the story of Miss Chyna Long. She was a very, very beautiful soul. From all the YouTube things that I've saw, just everything that I've researched about her, she was a very, very beautiful soul. And she was killed at the end of last year, at the end of 2023. She was murdered, and it was very, very sad. She's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful young lady. I'm gonna add her photo. The beautiful young lady that she was. When I stumbled upon the story, what touched me is because it was her father that was speaking up for her. Now this is a Milwaukee. He's from Milwaukee. The father is from Milwaukee, and yeah, he was mourning the death of his daughter. I want to read a little bit about it. Said Milwaukee father, he was heartbroken after recently suffering immeasurable losses, including the death of his 31-year-old daughter, Chyna Long, a black trans woman who was shot and killed last weekend.
I had to take my baby, y'all. I had to take my baby.
It was a 29-year-old man that was charged in Chyna Long's death. Police said the shooting took place because she was shot and killed on October 8th at 7:45 a.m. on the 7300 block of North 89th Street. And the guy, the man who did this to her, I don't really want to say his name, to give him that type of light and attention, but he was 29, and they say he was arrested 2 days later. They said no one in the family has heard of the suspect. Chyna told him that she was going to, told the father that she was going back to Chicago on Saturday. So he was surprised to learn she was shot in Milwaukee on Sunday. Here's her story. So they said she was a leader, her father said. All my children seem to become the head of their crew. If she stayed in the house, then half of the crew stayed in the house. Jonathan said it wasn't uncommon for Chyna, while a student at Milwaukee's Washington High School, to be surrounded by a handful of teenage girls. I would always ask her if she had any male friends, and she would say, they want to learn how to dance, I'm teaching them how to dance. Jonathan said his daughter was a gifted dancer. He said her friends referred to Chyna as one of the best dancers in the city. She was the light of the party. She always wanted to cheer up people. Existing in public spaces was difficult at times, her father said. People would throw things at her or honk their horns at her While in Chicago, Chyna was sleeping on a public train when she woke up to a man urinating on her. Through it all, Chyna remained a light for all. Her father said she made a living by styling hair and providing dance lessons. That's very, very that's so sad, that people would even be so sick as to do something like that. Like, you're gonna urinate on her? Like, are you serious? That's just sick. So, I'm gonna try to go to this one where we can speak a little bit about. So she was Chyna Long was 30 years old. She was a black transgender woman, as we know, a dance choreographer. And on Wednesday, October 18th in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, friends and family members and members of the LGBTQ plus community gathered at the family church for Chyna. Chyna was killed on that Saturday, October 8th, as we stated, 2023, making it at least the 20th violent killing of a transgender or non-conforming person in 2023. We say at least because too often these stories, they go unreported or they go misreported, where a lot of the people are misgendered. They'll know that they're dressed in female clothing, but they'll still call them him or he because of their genitalias, whatever. The Human Rights Campaign is deeply saddened to report on Chyna's passing. Chyna was also the at least fourth transgender woman killed in Milwaukee over the past 16 months. According to the court documents, the guy, like I stated, he was arrested and charged with first-degree reckless homicide and with the possession of a firearm by a convicted felon in Chyna's murder. The court documents suggested that he was seen on a surveillance video leaving his home at 7:34 a.m. in the morning of October 8th, and around 7:47 a.m. an eyewitness saw the masked man who matched his description talking to a person inside of a Chevy Impala, from where a series of gunshots rang out. Surveillance video captured the vehicle speeding away from the scene, where Chyna was found suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. A statement was released from Tori Cooper from the Human Rights Campaign, Director of Community Engagement of the Transgender Justice Initiative. He said, "Yet again, we are tragically observing another fatal incident involving a black transgender woman from our community. And adding to the devastation is the fact that Chyna was killed by a gun, just like so many other members of our community. We can't remain silent or idle as we witness the horrors of gun violence. In all fatal violence against the trans and gender nonconforming community, we must honor Chyna's life by demanding change." And change must happen, because this is sad. It say no direct personal involvement between Kurt and Chyna has been established as of the time of the publication. I didn't even want to say his name. But during the police questioning, he denied any involvement with Chyna's murder, claiming to have been at work between the hours of 7 a.m. and 3 p.m. on the day of the murder. Police have established that he did not clock in to work until 7:52, and additional surveillance footage show him arriving to work in the same vehicle reported to have been seen leaving the crime scene. Get up here in the bed. So, speaking to the local news, Chyna aunt Lisa said, "We loved her, we accepted her a long time ago. We accepted who she wanted to be, and we watched her be happy being who she wanted to be." When asked if they believed that Chyna's murder was a hate crime, Chyna's father, John, responded with, "I know it was." Back in 2023 alone, 12 black transgender women had been violently killed 83% of them done by gun violence. It is so, it's sad. Like, we really must demand better from our elected officials and reject harmful anti-transgender legislations at the local, state, and federal levels, while also considering every possible way to make ending this violence a reality. It is clear that fatal violence disproportionately affects transgender women of color, especially Black transgender women. The intersections of racism, transphobia, sexism, biphobia, and homophobia conspire to deprive them of the necessities to live and thrive. So we must all work together to cultivate acceptance, reject hate, and end stigma for everyone in the trans and gender non-conforming community, my community. We must. It is so sad that this young lady had to lose her life at the hands of someone that claimed to not even know her. But I think somewhere I read that they did know each other, but I don't want to lie. I don't want to put that out there. But it's just it's sickening. It really is. It's sickening and it's sad, because you see this type of stuff and it's just like, it continues to go on continuously. And these are, and what you have to pay attention to, these are parents losing their child. These are parents losing their children, you know? And that's the hardest thing a person can go through in life. You know, that's the hardest thing a person can go through in life, is losing their child, especially in a violent crime.
Mommy,
okay, I'll go get a pamper. But yeah, it's just so, it's sad. So it really is. It really is. So it was a TikTok video that came out that actually broke this, where people really started paying attention, and that was with the father sobbing in the car, speaking about the death of his child. And commenters quickly shared their sympathies for Jonathan, wishing him condolences, hugs, peace, and strength. Someone even shared a similar story and, you know, told their story about what happened. And this is the video. I'm going to try to add the video into this story as well, so you guys can see see the father. He is emotional. He's broken, and it's so sad. It's so sad. And she was so beautiful. She was so beautiful. Our prayers, our thoughts, and condolences goes out to Chyna Long's family. We're glad justice has been served. They have caught the person who committed this heinous crime on this beautiful individual. And my heart breaks. My heart breaks for her family, and I'm just happy and to know that she's in a much better place than this evil, cruel world. And we really have to do better in our community, and we have to protect one another, because we are all Black. We're Black first, okay? We are all Black first, regardless of our differences and what they may be. We have to stick together. We have to come together. Change is only going to happen when we make it happen. And that's very important. So thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this segment. And I hope you guys tune in for more, because there will be more. And make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And please, please share the video and comment below. Let us know your thoughts, your opinions. And if there's anything you want us to speak on, please feel free to let us know. I'm going to put a page together for this whole transgender stories and murder and survivals. So just look forward to it. And I thank you guys for tuning in, and make sure you keep on tuning in and share this with your friends, family, and followers. Bye.